My name is Brianna Nelson, and this is my integrative research project for EDU 604. The title of my project is The Effects of Handwriting, Handwriting Instruction, and Handwriting Interventions on the Literacy Skills of Preschool through 3rd grade students. I chose this topic because I am especially interested in what we might consider to be foundational skills, such as decoding, spelling, and handwriting. And I am intrigued by the effect on student learning when these foundational skills are strong and automatic. To begin, I will share some summarizing statements from Chapter 1 of my literature review. One of the things that I've noticed over the years and that I read about in the handwriting literature is that emphasis on handwriting has dwindled in elementary schools since the adoption of Common Core standards. Yet research points to a positive impact of handwriting on academic performance. Handwriting is foundational to writing, and studies have even found an impact of handwriting on reading. Yet recent NAEP data shows that only 24% of students in the U.S. have attained basic levels of communication and writing, and only 31% of 4th graders are performing above or at the proficient level of reading. Therefore, looking at the effects of handwriting on literacy skills is a worthwhile endeavor. One model that can help us understand the foundational role of handwriting on writing is the Simple View of Writing, developed by Virginia Berninger and Ruth Abbott in the early 2000s. This model is a triangle with 3 sections. At the bottom are transcription, which includes handwriting and executive functioning. The top of the triangle, composition, is supported by transcription and executive functioning. This model shows that the more automatic, low-level transcription skills like handwriting are, the more working memory resources are available for high-level writing skills. In Chapter 1, I mentioned a few other important factors regarding handwriting. First, if a student has slow handwriting, they may not retain their thoughts and ideas before writing them. Secondly, if students need to switch their focus back and forth between handwriting and composing, the cohesiveness of their thoughts may be impacted negatively. Third, the legibility of handwriting is important because students need to read their notes and teachers must read student work to assess achievement. Additionally, readers can make positive and negative judgments about written text based on its legibility. Fourth, and finally, when students struggle with handwriting, it may produce frustration and lack of motivation, which in turn can lead students down a path of avoidance and low writing achievement. Recognizing that additional work is needed to enhance students' literacy skills, my literature review aimed to answer the question, what are the effects of the mode of handwriting, handwriting interventions, and handwriting instruction on the literacy skills of preschool through 3rd grade students? Next, I will give an overview of Chapter 2 in my literature review. The first 3 studies I wrote about involved preschool and kindergarten students. The goal of the first study by Longcamp et al. Was to investigate whether handwriting contributed to the visual recognition of letters. The results showed that in older children, the handwriting training gave rise to better letter recognition than the typing training. The goal of the second study by Zemlock et al. Was to extend the work of Longcamp by examining whether the effects of handwriting on letter recognition are specific to any visual motor experience or to handwriting letters specifically. Interestingly, the writing groups, both digit and letter, improved in letter recognition significantly more than the viewing groups. The goal of the third study by Ray et al. Was to examine the effectiveness of a handwriting intervention, Write Start K. There was a statistically significant effect for letter name knowledge and word rating, and an approaching statistically significant effect for letter sound knowledge and nonsense word reading for the treatment group. The next studies involved first graders. The first study by Berninger et al. Aimed to determine whether explicit handwriting instruction would produce better handwriting and more written text for students at risk for handwriting problems. The study highlighted that combining numbered arrows and memory retrieval was the most effective treatment for improving handwriting and compositional fluency. In the second first grade study, Graham et al. Sought to extend Berninger's work by examining the effect of supplemental handwriting instruction on the handwriting and writing performance of first graders at risk for handwriting and writing problems. The students in the handwriting condition made greater gains in both handwriting and compositional fluency. The third first grade study by Wanzik et al. Aimed to examine the effects of transcription instruction because of the important effect that handwriting and spelling skills have on students at risk for writing difficulties. Students in the spelling condition outperform the control group on spelling measures and the writing measures of correct word sequences with a moderate effect size. Students in the handwriting condition outperform the control group with small to moderate effects on several handwriting and writing measures. Students receiving handwriting and spelling instruction outperform the control group on correct word sequences and total words written with a small effect. The fourth study of first graders by Graham et al. Attempted to determine whether a supplemental transcription program focused on handwriting and spelling would improve the handwriting legibility, handwriting fluency, and spelling of students struggling with these skills. Students in the treatment group made greater gains in handwriting fluency, handwriting legibility, spelling accuracy, sentence construction fluency, and compositional vocabulary. The next section of studies involves second and third graders. The first study by Alves et al. Sought to explore the relationship between transcription and writing by examining the effects of handwriting and spelling skills. Handwriting students had greater handwriting fluency, longer writing bursts, and shorter pauses while writing better and longer stories than keyboarding students. The second study by Limpo and Alves examined the effects of how SRSD, or self-regulated strategy development, in conjunction with transcription skills, impacted writing proficiency. The SRSD and transcription training together increased spelling accuracy, writing fluency, planning, story completeness, clause length, burst length, and writing quality. The last study by Limpo et al. Examined the effects of transcription training on the writing of third grade students. Students in the transcription groups had greater gains in handwriting, spelling, writing quality, and writing quantity. In Chapter 3 of my literature review, I discussed 4 key findings. First is that handwriting over typing or viewing letters may lead to an increase in letter recognition and word recognition. Secondly, handwriting instruction and practice that involves the use of explicit instruction, the use of numbers on letters to help sequence letter formation, involves having students recall the formation of letters from memory, and involves them evaluating their best efforts by circling their best formed letters and words, is a more effective way to increase students' handwriting legibility and fluency over other methods. The third finding is that coupling handwriting with other interventions, such as spelling or SRSD, can benefit students' handwriting and writing abilities. Fourth and finally, allocating time to handwriting instruction can enhance students' writing since it can positively impact handwriting legibility, fluency, text quality, and text quantity. Handwriting can be taught in 50 to 100 minutes a week in short sessions. In conclusion, the research supports the use of the mode of handwriting to support students' learning of literacy skills and highlights the fact that handwriting instruction and interventions not only increase handwriting fluency and legibility, but also improve writing quality and quantity, thus making handwriting worth instructional time in preschool and early elementary classrooms.